Hey everybody, this is attempt number 3. I'm going to figure this out and delete the other ones if this one works, but I am going to try to talk about dietary supplements and herbs with Arielle Martin, who is my pharmacist, and we will see if she's going to humor me. Let's see. Add.
I think we figured it out.
Oh my goodness. I see you.
Yay!
All right, it finally worked. Okay, I am going to delete the other ones and we'll try to get this working. Thank you for your patience. So good morning and thanks for coming in and joining us. I know you're heading off to work. So I'm going to talk a little bit about dietary supplements, and then I have a bunch of questions for you and everyone on Wholist and Hammerset Health and Wellness. Thanks for tuning in and being patient with us this morning. This is Arielle Martin. She is my favorite pharmacist, but don't tell everybody else. So dietary supplements are substances that you eat and drink, and they are vitamins, minerals, herbs, and other plants or amino acids, and they come in all sorts of different forms, you know, liquids and capsules and tablets in your diet. But really the problem is that these are not regulated by the FDA, and because of that, they can't say that they diagnose, cure, or treat or prevent disease, but they can say that they can contribute to your health maintenance and well-being. One of the things that I'm doing here with Wholist is we're coming up with networks of practitioners that are that we're sure are meeting standards, and so we're happy to have Arielle kind of on the team to help us with this pharmacy questions about what we're taking and what's safe. And so I wanted to have you come on and just talk to us a little bit about, you know, sort of for a few reasons. Number one, you know, with Wholist, we're on a mission to sort of find this evidence behind what we're doing with our health and wellness. And number two, people are spending tons of money on this stuff. And number three, we often don't even know if they work or if they're dangerous or if they're just a big waste of money. And I remember a handful of years ago, actually, 2004, one of my mentors, who's Mike Burns, Dr. Mike Burns, is a toxicology specialist, and he published some paper then that showed that 20% of Ayurvedic medicines that they studied in Boston at the time had toxic heavy metals in them. And then this was right after I'd come home from India actually studying Ayurvedic medicine, so it was really well timed for me, but really kind of shocking. And additionally, there was a study a few years ago that showed that the majority of supplements in the national supplement chains had almost none of the ingredients in them that they said that they had. So we need your help. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and why we should listen to you.
Thanks, Heather. So I'm a pharmacist. I graduated from South Dakota State University with my doctorate in pharmacy. And then I went to a residency actually at St. Al's and then stayed on and worked there. And I've been at Al's for 7 years now, and I work in the ER now. So
awesome. Yeah, and I wish that I overlapped with you more often, but I'm only ever there for like an hour because I work all night. But it's always such a huge benefit to have you guys around to help us in the emergency department. So I guess my next question is, you know, do most of us need supplements and herbs?
So that's kind of a tricky situation because I think a lot more information is coming out about those supplements, but overall, most of us can get the ingredients we find in herbs and supplements in our diet. That's, you know, how for the last several thousand years we've gotten our dietary needs is through our diet. So some people, though, do need herbal supplements, and those usually they need tests. Like an anemic person might need more iron, and they can either find that in a diet, or if they can't get it in their diet, then they can get it in a pill form. So there are definitely the situations where you might need it, but usually there's a test that we can do to kind of help you with that. And I apologize, my puppy is being very forceful about trying to get in my lap right now. So she's making it fun.
So what are commonly used herbs and supplements, and what are a few things that we need to know about those?
Hi, girl. Sorry. She's only 120 pounds. She'd always want to be in my lap. So kind of the more common ones that we have are going to be, actually did a little research trying to figure out the more common ones because, of course, I have the ones in my head that I think are more common. But some of the more common herbs are black cohosh, echinacea, evening primrose, feverfew, garlic, ginkgo, ginseng, golden seal, green tea, hawthorn, saw palmetto, and St. John's wort. Those are kind of the the top kind of 10. And then you obviously all your supplements like your vitamins, so like a multivitamin, vitamin C, vitamin D, those type of things, omegas, irons, magnesiums, those are the more popular ones flying off the shelves.
So are there things that we need to know about those supplements and vitamins that are really important, things that we should be avoiding, we shouldn't be taking?
It kind of depends on who you are. Not all things natural are safe. So I think a lot of people get confused or caught up in the movement when there's like, but they say they're natural, but not everything is good for every person. So, for example, like feverfew can cause an increased risk of seizures. So you don't want to take that if you have an increased risk of seizures already, or say you have a clotting disorder. A lot of these medications have some sort of coumarin in them, which is actually helps thin out your blood, if you want to think about it that way. So can be certain medications that are very dangerous to take if you have certain diseases. So you really need to make sure that you're connecting with your physicians or your pharmacist to say, hey, is this safe for me? Should I be on this? Or is this actually going to do more harm than good?
Yeah, and when we were talking the other day, you mentioned that like most people don't even tell you when you guys go in to talk to our emergency patients that they're on any supplements or herbs, even when you ask them a couple of times. So really being conscious about making sure you're sharing, because they don't call them medicines, but they interact with our medicines. They basically are medicines, right?
Yes, they are medications and they do count. I hear that a lot. I say, is there anything else that you're taking daily? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm taking like this echinacea thing, but that doesn't matter. It's like, no, that does matter because there are some significant drug interactions or even medical problems that could be attributed to these medications. Like kava kava has been associated with liver disease and liver damage. So that could help explain it in someone who may or may not, own up to the fact that they're on this because they don't feel like it counts.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important as Wholist grows our network to really have someone like you who's available to really look through all these things that people are on and figure out those, those issues that we're having. Because the last thing we want to do is be taking something we think is good for our health and wellness, but actually really harming us. And I think as long as we, know all the risks and benefits of taking what we're taking, then, we'll be fine. But we certainly need experts that we trust. How do we make safe choices about purchasing and using these supplements and herbs? Because, as I said above, these studies about heavy metals and Ayurvedic herbs and supplements, and then, buying things that like, I think it was GNC that they did that study in where it was like nothing was actually in it that they said was in it. So what do we do to make sure that what we're purchasing is safe for us and it is what it is?
Yeah, that's a huge concern. We touched about it in pharmacy school, and it was kind of shocking to everyone, even in pharmacy school, that there's no regulations here. So they can put something on the market without ever testing it or even being true to what's in it. So instead of the reverse, whereas our prescription medications go through rigorous testing and then the FDA approves them, here something hits the market and then it takes a lot of instances, deaths, to get it off the market. So it's a little bit reversed from a lot of other medications. So what I tell people to look for is there's actually some companies that do secondary verification of the ingredients. So they'll go in and say, we tested their products and they tested accuracy. So what you said was in there was actually in there. Now they don't verify that it works, just that at least what they said was in there was actually in there, and it wasn't just, horse manure that they put in a pill. So one of those brands that I know about is called USP Verified. It's a little circle that you can see usually on the front of the product. Otherwise, you can also go to their webpage and they'll tell you exactly which products by which manufacturers they've tested.
Oh, interesting. Could you, in the comments when we're done, put that in there, and maybe like if you could put an example of what that circle looks like so that we can see it and really know what it is. That's awesome. Any other tips for us?
I think the biggest thing is just to make sure that you're telling everyone what you're on, because it's really important. And there's a lot of people that, don't feel the need to share that information, but it can be really helpful when we're looking at your care. There are medications and herbal supplements that work, and that's fantastic. But we do need to know that you're on them when we come see you. So make sure that everyone from your doctor to your nurses to your pharmacist knows what you're taking.
Yeah, great. So what I'm hearing is that we need to find physicians and pharmacists and practitioners that really practice based on evidence, but also work on kind of communication with you and with everybody else on their team to make sure that we're able to review everything, herbs, supplements, and medications. And I'm also hearing that we really need to know what's essential, you know, what we should be taking, minimizing what we're taking if we don't actually need it, asking if there are tests that can be done to confirm if we should be taking something or not, and really making sure that everyone's working together to make sure there aren't mistakes. And then buying from reputable companies. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that comment from you on that company. I'd love to start using that myself. So thank you so much for joining me. And thanks everybody for joining and watching us and paying attention and following along with Wholist as we grow our business. And Arielle, I'm really looking forward to working with you on these projects.
Sounds good. You guys have a great day.
Yeah, have a good shift. See ya.
Bye.